Hello, everyone. So, you guys know about Shein or Temu, right? Probably bought from them before. Well, the business of fashion and McKinsey has researched and shown 40% of US consumers shopped with these fast fashion giants in 2023. Fast fashion is quickly and cheaply produced clothes that follow quick internet trends, target a large audience, and they maximize their profit, often while pushing ethics aside. Fast fashion is killing us and our world, and we have to stop supporting this type of business. Fast fashion will have long term damage on us. Things that may be hard to think of at the moment, like major pollution, carbon emissions. If we care about ourselves, we should care about the environment and ethics too, right? These fast fashion companies will outsource their manufacturing in order to get around labor laws and fair pay for workers. Workers tasked with actually producing the clothes are subjected to terrible working conditions and much more, ultimately damaging physical and mental health. But these companies don't care. What do they care about? Money. Simply, fast fashion hurts the environment, exploits workers, and encourages a negative consumption mindset. Now, before I did my research, I had a general idea on why fast fashion was bad, but I'm broke and I wanted that instant good feeling, so I'd buy from Shein, get excited when my package came, and then wear it once or never again. And I started to really think and realize how the damage can build up. But in order to fully realize this as an issue, we have to look into the whys of fast fashion. Simply, what is it? Fast fashion defined is cheaply outsourced goods, usually clothes that rely on cost effectiveness and fast shipping. Why is it so popular though? How? First off, their accessibility. Fast fashion companies are typically internet giants, meaning it's so simple and easy for anyone to access their store. Along with their store being available to you at all times, basically, the goods are affordable to mostly everyone. Fast fashion mass manufactures in order to become very widespread, making themselves the most accessible option to consumers. Not just this makes them popular, though. They also make sure they keep up with the trends. These companies will spend a lot of time on social media looking into the latest trends and what would sell best at the moment. They'll steal and copy designs in order for a quicker turnaround rate so the average person who also sees these trends, they can feel included too. Consumers will jump on the trend, giving the company exactly what they wanted. This ties in with their marketing. The use of social media, especially targeted ads from fast fashion companies, can affect users' mental health very poorly. They push this culture of staying on trend and missing out, resulting in heightened anxiety and depression. The society that's been fostered on social media, partly due to the predatory marketing schemes, results in internet language like FOMO, the fear of missing out, or retail therapy, which is a quirky way to say you overconsumed products to feel better. I know I've personally been a victim to this, and the temptation that's already there for instant gratification is not helped by constant, very in your face ads on the latest style to have. Fast fashion marketing, specifically on social media, is very predatory and damaging, especially to younger people. It isn't just about us, though. There has to be someone who makes the goods, someone with a real life, just like you and me. Human labor is a massive issue with the fast fashion industry. Poor labor conditions, low wages is the norm for a fast fashion worker. Fast fashion is so cheap because why? Companies will outsource their labor to countries where it's cheaper to produce, there's less strict labor regulations, and there's cheaper materials. When a company outsources manufacturing for their goods, they're hiring a third party country with different laws or different costs that can complete their task much faster and at a much lower price. They care about this so they can stay accessible and stay on top. How are they making everything so much faster, though? Aren't we all human? It isn't just about the cost of production. They also mainly outsource to different countries to get around different labor laws so they can keep up with extremely fast production. Countries like Bangladesh, India, or China, who are major producers for these companies, while yes, there are laws in place, the enforcement isn't really there. Neglect for the workers from the factories themselves, from the companies that they outsource to, it's normal. In most cases, working conditions for fast fashion employees will be extremely unsafe. They also receive exploitative pay and very exhausting hours. There are so many examples I could use to show you the horror of what it's like to work in one of these factories, which is honestly a shame. But one story that really stuck with me is the Rana Plaza disaster, the deadliest industrial incident in the history of the garment industry. Details I found out about this incident posted by earthday.org in order to spread awareness was in 2013, over 1,000 people were killed and more were even injured in the 8-story building collapse. Terrible accounts from survivors, multiple who were left with no choice but to sacrifice their own limbs to survive. One day before this incident happened, major structural cracks were found and lower level shops shut down, but warnings were ignored by the higher level factories, and they ordered workers to return to work the next day, and only hours later, the collapse came. Due to the direct neglect that comes from these companies, so many lost their lives, and so many were injured, trapped and scared under the rubble and heavy machines for hours. There have been way too many cases similar to this. If you're a worker for one of these companies, you don't just have to worry about the dangers for your safety. You have to think about living wages. How are you going to support yourself? And how are you going to support your family? There have been so many cases, not just this one, where there's been a tragedy due to the lack of care for employees and because of the company's love for money. Employers will often use punishment as a tactic to meet quota. People who work in these fast fashion factories usually don't make enough to have a living wage, even though they're working exhausting hours, working tirelessly to meet their quota, pushed onto them by higher ups to finish faster and to work harder. These companies, they'll make employees feel the need to reach quota on time or they won't be able to support themselves or support their family. Companies know this and they use it as a weapon to ensure their fast production. This is extremely physically unhealthy for workers, but also mentally exhausting. Imagine if it was someone you knew, maybe a family member or a friend. Even if you don't know them, they're still human. These workers, they do what they can just to survive, but what are they getting in return? Nothing. Well, I'm not finished there. What about our world, our environment? Fast fashion is a huge contributor to pollution, and it's responsible for 10% of global carbon dioxide emissions. How do they contribute that much pollution to our world? Fast fashion has a lot of steps to making the clothes, and this usually includes using a ton of water, and this results in wastewater. And wastewater from this process usually contains very harmful pollutants. Mass manufacturing industries, including fast fashion factories, use the second largest amount of water globally. This results in clean water scarcity, not only with just using the water, but polluting it with their cheap materials, with microplastics and other harmful chemicals. With mass production and consumption comes mass waste. According to Princeton EDU, 57% of discarded clothes end up in a landfill. When a large amount of cheap textiles end up in a landfill, They can release harmful chemicals into the air and soil when they pile up in the landfills. They get taken to be incinerated, releasing whatever harmful chemicals were in them into the air. Scraps from the actual process of making the clothing to the consumer wrongfully discarding their items is what makes up this mass pollution. You guys have probably done it without even thinking about it, too. You buy something you see on social media, you wear it once, and now it's nowhere to be found. You probably haven't thought about that shirt until I brought it up just now. I've seen this firsthand. Clothes along the side of the road, parking lots, ponds, they're everywhere. I've personally been a part of several cleanup journeys. The amount of clothes I've seen and thought, someone would have loved this, if only it were donated. Instead, it's sitting here polluting our environment and affecting our overall health. But we have power, and we must use it. What can you do to help? There are a lot of ways that we can help reduce the damage stemming from fast fashion. There's a lot of super simple things we can do, like buying secondhand or researching for sustainable brands to shop from instead. It's understandable and very easy to want to buy something new for cheap. The temptation can be almost irresistible, but now that you know the truth, the damage that supporting and participating in these actions can cause, I hope you start to rethink. Everyone knows Goodwill, or maybe Plato's Closet. If not, I'm sure you have a local thrift store nearby. They're truly everywhere. Going back to that instant gratification from fast fashion, I believe you can get that from thrifting too. There's no better feeling than walking in and finding something you actually love and still for super cheap. Thrifts aren't just good for buying clothes. We all need to be donating our clothes as well, not throwing them away. Something else we can do? We can practice some self-control. I know that I still need to. So try your hardest to avoid impulse purchases. Do your best to really think on if you want or you need it. Is it just because it's trendy, or how often are you actually going to wear it? A more active approach could be participating in cleanup groups. It's so easy to just get online and search up for groups near you. It's an easy way to start to be involved, and it truly makes an impact. It all has to start somewhere. It all takes a few small steps until you're a part of something greater. If we were all to implement these ideals and routines, we'd be making the world a better place together. For a future that ensures our safety and health, we must realize the issues and take action. Fast fashion ultimately hurts the environment, exploits workers, and encourages bad retail consumption. We have power, though. From less involved ways to help that still make a good impact to more involved activities, it all matters. You shouldn't just be buying differently, you should be thinking differently too. Wear your values on your sleeve. Literally. Thank you so much for giving me your attention today, and I hope that we can truly help make the world a better place. Thank you.